odd. But Joseph and I spent a lot of time talking about the 30-06 bullet and how that whole thing works and what the possibilities were there. And we went through some of the, actually like even some cringe tweets that were put out about that, trying to call it a miracle that it didn't go through later. And Joseph certainly had some words on that. But they did release, we saw this, Steve, they released photos of the bullet in court yesterday afternoon. Do we have that link?
Yeah, I have it right here.
So we can pull that up. Okay. So this includes a ruler just in centimeters, just to give you an idea of like the size. But what you're looking at is, as far as I know, the first publicly released exhibit of the, Joseph, would the proper term be the mushroomed bullet right there? Yeah. Is that how you describe it?
Yeah, it would be mushroomed. You can see the base, the image on your right. You can see the base of it. It's kind of circular.
Okay, the base kind of circular. Got it.
That's where we would determine the caliber of the weapon. But there's no appreciable rifling. You know, we talked about I think in our comments today, we talked about the lands and grooves inside of a rifle and those twists that you have, and that leaves the marks on the long axis of the projectiles that's going down the barrel. This is the reason they could not include or exclude relative to this as far as matching to the weapon ballistically, but they did confirm that it was a 30-06.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay. So again, it's a start as far as like us getting some information on this. We're going to need to continue to get a lot of blanks filled in. It was also cool. I forgot about this. We had Clint Russell, who's been on my podcast. He was on a couple months ago. I was able to FaceTime him a couple hours into the podcast, and then we turned the FaceTime around, and he's obviously been knee deep in covering all the details of this case. So he got to raise, I think it was about 5 different points that were certainly great questions about things that were weird around the investigation of the case and things like that. And then Joseph, after Clint went through all that, Joseph kind of went through each bullet point and things that remain unexplained, some things that maybe are explainable, etc. So I'll let that speak for itself there. But what do we have? Another like 2-3 days of hearings here? Or is it done right now? It's completely done. So we just finished it today. It was at day 5. All right. So this is what we have right now, and then there will be some sort of trial date if it does go to trial in this case. But, you know, I want to see that video that Jack Posobiec talked about. And again, like, I need to see it as well, because like Jack Posobiec is also a guy that held up the Epstein binders outside the White House. Like, oh, here we go, nothing to see after that. And it's like, no offense, but I'm gonna need my own 2 eyes on that for sure. But we'll continue to watch this, and then